Well, President Johnson orders the United States military to set up a commission to try all the conspirators that we've arrested from the whole Lincoln assassination thing. He has determined that it is a military matter and not a civil matter, despite the fact that all those that have been arrested are not members of any military and all civilians. So this seems like he's taking one out of Lincoln's book and just kind of ignoring due process of law. America! Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I am Lieutenant Tommy. This is Prospector Johnny, always with me, very best friend. And it is it's getting hot, Johnny. We're entering.
It's starting to get warm. Yeah,
it is,
a little shiny, a little sticky.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's very wet.
But
lately, very.
It's
wet.
over, thank God.
Yeah. I mean,
the rain's been a bit much.
I mean, all right. Is the war
it's over?
officially?
You said.
Is it officially over yet? No. Is it over?
You said.
Yes, it's over. It's over. We're done.
Okay.
It's mopping up. Like,
we're just still coming in and recording and doing this every week and updating on
which we will continue into Reconstruction, although in the very near future.
Reconstruction?
Bringing the country back together, Johnny, and making us all one whole thing again. Although
you should coin that term. It might become popular.
It might become popular. We will. That will be less than weekly once we get to that point, which will be, spoiler, probably a couple of months.
Soon.
Soon.
What?
Speaking of random other things, we have a Patreon. There's not that many members yet, but trust me, there is a backlog of me and Johnny's ramblings of non-history related things, current affairs,
a lot of history
games,
stuff too.
Still a lot of history stuff. Gun things are in there.
Pew things.
Those are in there.
The manuals.
There are manuals. There are. You get the chat room where you can talk to us directly. And like, I know I do a pretty good job of answering questions inside comments, but like this is like you ask us any unrelated off the cuff thing. So check that out. Link is.
It's like your own Reddit AMA.
It is.
Only without other people asking questions too, unless other people join.
All right, Johnny.
Which they will.
Let's get into it. This week opens up on the 28th with Sherman allowing his officers to deal with the parolees of Johnson's army that has, surrendered and done the whole thing. Fill out the paperwork, dot the I's, cross the T's, send them on their merry way. Throughout this week, there are going to be small pockets of Confederates surrendering, like, everywhere. Okay. They're just like...
Sure, is this kind of as word...
gets
catches
around
wind,
yeah, and then there are a bunch of them that are just saying fuck it and going home and bypassing the whole parole thing, and they're just like taking all their shit home with them, which is probably the free gun, right? You're gonna need that.
That's what I would. I mean, that's the way to go. It's not like hey, you can go ahead and give away the one thing that you have to your name still. Yeah. Before you go back to your nothing that might be burnt to the ground, depending on where you live.
Yeah, very, very much so. Johnny.
Yeah, I would just take it with me.
I would just go home and take all my shit with me. Yeah. And true to President Davis, he's going to accept the resignation of the Treasury Secretary Trenholm, who ironically is like one of the only Confederate cabinet members that has been from like point A to point B, but. Even spoiler, he's not going to be the last cabinet member to just be like, I'm done. The war's over, guys. Let's go home. But Traitor President Davis is still very delusional and still thinks he has a chance of winning.
Does he think, or is he saving face? Like what?
I don't.
Happening?
I don't. I think at this point he knows he's going to get
Is he trying to plan his escape?
I think.
Is he trying? Is he going to be is he going to end up in Europe somewhere? Like. Housed by France?
I think that might be something he's kind of gunning for. On the 29th, we're going to see President Johnson removing restrictions on trade in former Confederate territories east of the Mississippi within Union-controlled zones. So basically anywhere that we've already established a presence, it's business as usual. Like, back to normal. You can sell your shit to us. We can buy your shit. You can start buying our coffee again. We'll buy your tobacco. Like all that shit. Trade is starting to resume back to normal.
And so the normal people will start to have some semblance of normalcy again.
Yeah, exactly.
The people who aren't involved in this little
all this shenanigan crap. Yeah. Traitor President Davis and his party are in Yorkville, South Carolina, as they continue to flee federal authorities. On the 30th, Lincoln's train is in Indianapolis, Johnny, and I tried my best to get. It's just right down the road. I tried, but there was such a crowd. Yeah. There was such a crowd, and apparently a second lieutenant in the ordnance department doesn't have any clout. So I couldn't get, and I just really wanted. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Here's what it is. I was like, "That's cool. I'll go see his train." And I started to go down to the train station downtown, and then I saw the big, massive amounts of people, and I went, "I'm gonna go." I went home.
Now this is a glass case type situation where you can look at the president.
So well, his coffin is brought. I don't know if it's a glass coffin or not, but his coffin is brought out.
Okay.
It is opened so that you can.
It's not.
You can see him. He
was shot in the head.
The back of the head. He's been embalmed many times. Basically, every time they get him off the train, they re-embalm him.
How many times have we been embalmed? Like, for how many years has this been happening? What do you mean many times? Is he a vampire?
Well,
a mummy? What is it? What embalm? A mummy?
There have been 13 stops.
Oh.
Every stop, he basically gets re-embalmed, and then there's a crap ton of flowers that are brought in because apparently. There's a bit of an odor.
Pockets full of posy.
Ashes.
Freshen it up.
We all fall down. Yeah, there's that going on. Also,
well, that sounds like a really awful situation and terrible idea and bad thing to do. And maybe we should stop doing this type of stuff.
Johnny,
maybe moving forward, we just don't do that. Maybe if another person gets shot in the head, we don't parade him around with an open casket funeral.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Can we at least say that? Like, that should be a pretty easy statement to make.
I think that's a fair statement to make. Johnny, also, Federal General Canby and Confederates General Taylor agree to a truce while they negotiate the Confederate surrender of the forces in the Mississippi and Alabama area. So, another... and that's your last substantial army that the Confederates have. And by substantial, I mean... army of note. There is
so are we just now waiting on Traitor President Davis to acknowledge terms of surrender? What are we?
I think
I
think the Confederate government is technically still at large. So there's that. And there's still a couple of bands of people fighting. Like I said, the one that's in Mississippi, Alabama. There's an army in Arkansas that's still there.
Sure, but
and there's technically a Confederate.
There are raiders and stuff all over the place doing bullshit, but that doesn't make it a war. It doesn't make them an army. It doesn't make it... they're a gang. Roving gangs have always existed.
I think at this point, once Traitor President Davis is captured and the rest of his shitbags are captured, I think once the Confederate government's in jail, I don't know what else you can...
Well, strung up.
Well, I mean, there's.
I would assume
there's that. Yeah, we could do that.
I know we've been taking a little bit easy on the treason thing lately, but I mean, the president
probably,
that you have to make an example somewhere.
Especially a guy who wanted to be king. Him and his wife were legitimately talking about making the South an aristocracy. And the feudal society and rebringing back a king. So that's
gotta
wrap
go.
That shit up.
You gotta make an example of that.
Nip it in the butt so it never happens again.
Absolutely. It's very easy to do. I get it. You don't want to do all the generals. You don't want to do all. Obviously, you don't want to do all the soldiers because they're fucking.
Whatever. Most of them didn't even have a choice.
They're a matter of circumstance. They happened to be born in the South during that time, and they were of age where they could hold a gun. So go fight, you idiot.
Yeah.
So I get that. You let them go, but the government officials, you gotta
do something.
Make a show, right?
It's 100%. Johnny, also on the May 1st is going to open up. Johnson's going to order 9 Army officers to make up, President Johnson is going to order 9 Army officers to make up a military commission to try the Lincoln assassination conspirators that we have. Remember, we got, Booth is dead, but we got Harold, who was with Booth. He's been arrested. There's Mary Surratt. There's a bunch of other people that have been arrested. And Johnson has determined that it will be a military commission and a military trial because this is a military matter. Despite all these individuals that have been arrested are civilians.
How is it military? What is that? Why?
I don't know, buddy. which means that they're not entitled to like the same writs of habeas corpus. It's more like being court-martialed.
So are they just gonna just like take him into a room and shoot him? Is that what they're gonna do, military style? Is that what the military trial is now?
Maybe.
It's just no. This is not civil. This is
yeah, maybe.
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you my jury here, and yep, there it is, and you are guilty.
That might be
like
that might be what it is. Johnny, these the individuals that are held right now are David Harold, who was found with Booth, George Atzerodt. Anyways, Samuel Arnold, Louis Spain,
I don't know him.
Michael O'Laughlin, Edward Spangler, Miss Marie Surratt, and Samuel Mudd. These are all individuals that had a partaking in the assassination, or alleged partaking in the assassination of Lincoln and the attempted assassination of other government officials, although most of those were abysmal failures. Lincoln's train, Johnny, is going to arrive in Chicago.
I've never heard of anybody with any of those names, first or last. I have never heard of any of them.
No, it's fine.
So don't bring me into this.
Neither have I. Johnny, Lincoln is going to arrive in Chicago, or his train is going to arrive in Chicago.
Well, Lincoln's body. What are we doing here? Lincoln isn't arriving anywhere.
Lincoln's body is arriving.
Is he going to arrive and greet his constituents?
What's the bill?
No.
I mean, his body.
A box with a body in it.
Yeah.
Is going to show up, and people are going to cry about it.
Yeah, that's true. On the 2nd, Johnny, Taylor will formally surrender under the same terms offered to Lee, and Johnson will put a $100,000 reward on the arrest of Davis, formally accusing him and charging him in the conspiracy to kill Lincoln.
Oh, hot dog! Where was he last seen?
He was down in almost. On the 3rd, Traitor President Davison's party moved towards Washington, Georgia, and another Confederate cabinet member is going to resign. This time it's the Secretary of the Navy, and Lincoln's train reaches its final stop in Springfield, Illinois. And the week, Johnny, is going to end with the formal surrender ceremony of Taylor and the burial of Lincoln in Springfield, Illinois. So that's all we got for this.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all we got for this week.
Finally got him in the ground. That's good. He can rest. I don't know, in peace, I guess.
Until somebody tries to steal his body and sell it for ransom.
Why? What? Why? What?
That's it for this week in Civil War Hindsight. If you enjoy Civil War Hindsight, check out Historic Hindsight's other long format videos that are on history-related topics. We haven't done one in a minute, but I promise you, my reenacting season is basically ended. We're in it. We're going to go back. I'm going to get on track. There's Patreon that we talked about earlier. You can come join that. And there's multiple shorts. That's what you guys are actually watching. I will continue to do those daily for your viewing pleasure.